Welcome. It is 3 o'clock. It is Friday, and you are in the sports bar at the Sports Bartender show. We got a lot to talk about today, so I just want to get into it. Let me introduce my esteemed panel of colleagues. Max Roman,
hey
welcome.
Guys.
Major Gray, welcome. Let's get into it. College bowl season, most of the way done. We got a few left. What have you liked so far?
Let's see. I thought Ohio State played well.
Yeah.
I thought Michigan State played terribly.
Yes.
And got exposed. Sorry, Caps.
I'm with you on that.
I thought that the TCU game was pretty good.
Yeah.
I think that Wisconsin was a little overrated, to be honest with you. And I did not understand, even for 1 second, when they had just run the ball all the way down the field, why for that crucial 2-point conversion,
Right. Why
they decided to throw the ball. But you know what? Hey, I like the ads that TCU boosters have taken out in Columbus, Ohio, saying, congratulations, TCU, on your Rose Bowl victory. Sincerely, Little Sisters of the Poor.
Well, and also, I think if you watch that game,
you noticed a team that out-schemed another team. They saw Wisconsin didn't have anything special. They sort of, this is who we are, we're big, we're plotting, we're Big Ten. And they didn't try to do anything different on defense or offensive scheming-wise, and TCU did. They tried, they did a couple of rollouts that I don't think they'd done before with their quarterback, and it just seemed like they had a little more of a game plan going in.
Well, Wisconsin's whole program is built around essentially their strength and conditioning coach, which is that
We have the biggest guys in the world, and we're going to run it up your ass, and we don't care if you know that, and try and stop us.
And they did.
They mostly did,
yeah.
That's why it didn't make any sense to me. But, the Big Ten had a bad day that day.
Oh, yeah.
A bad bowl season in general.
Well, no, they were 0-2
up until that day.
Ohio State was key, though. They needed that one.
Yeah.
Which is a game they should have lost.
Right.
Yeah. I thought that the Orange Bowl was an entertaining game.
Yeah.
Stanford is like the better version of Wisconsin, I think.
I think you're right.
They're
the West Coast version of Wisconsin.
A little more ingenuity, a better quarterback, and a better defense.
Oh, for sure.
And I thought it was an impressive win by then. I also think that nobody quite realized, at least nationally, people are starting to realize how big that win that Oregon got over Stanford was.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Considering that Stanford is that good and could have been competing for a national championship, and Oregon beat them by 20,
I'll go
whatever.
one better. If Oregon wins convincingly,
The national championship game on Monday, I think that the Pac-10 had the two best teams this year,
Yeah.
pretty easily.
I kind of like that everybody's just sort of nationally is assuming that Auburn is going to win because
I'm picking Oregon, really.
Yeah.
I pick Oregon too.
it's hard for me to root for either team. Auburn has the dirtiest on-field and off-field players in
Yeah.
Nick Fairley and Cam Newton.
Yeah.
But Oregon is essentially, their athletic department and football team are essentially a private enterprise owned
Right.
by Phil Knight.
Right now,
I don't love that
they're,
either.
they're the Nike Ducks.
Right.
Yeah, but not only does Phil Knight donate, there was actually an interesting article on Sports Illustrated today about it. He basically just will build a building and then give it to them, but he
Right.
builds it the way he wants it.
Right. No.
In order to appeal to recruits, and he listens to the play calls. And
He's got the same control over that program that the guy at Oklahoma State.
T. Boone Pickens actually
T. Boone
said
Pickens
more.
Really?
Yeah. There were in the article about he actually listens to the play calls on a headset
Really?
during the games. He builds the things however he wants
Yeah.
them. T. Boone Pickens lives in Texas.
Oh, yeah.
So he's not there all the time.
But he's got a private jet and flies.
Yeah.
T. Boone Pickens too busy trying to solve our energy issue.
No, he dropped that.
Oh,
Once
totally
he lost
dropped
too much
that.
money in the stock market, and
Yeah.
he's done with it. But I thought that it wasn't the greatest bowl season I've ever seen, but it was better than in years past. The Rose Bowl was a decent game. The Orange Bowl was entertaining, although
Sugar Bowl was a
Stanford kinda-
fun game.
The Sugar Bowl was a good game.
Yeah.
That was maybe the most entertaining game.
Yeah.
definitely that last 2 minutes or
Yeah.
last quarter of the Sugar Bowl was just back and forth. Teams shouldn't have been in it, and then they were in it. Then there was
Yeah.
safety, and it was a fumble, and then an interception. That was a fun finish.
It was
to
a
game.
nice showcase for Terrell Pryor too.
Yeah.
For a lot of people hadn't seen him.
In case he goes pro next year.
He really needed it. Now he's having ankle surgery too. So
Yeah, but he didn't get hurt till the end, which was key for him.
Right.
We saw him limp off and then come back on for a series, right?
Yeah.
And they didn't really move the ball, but little guts from him coming back on.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I think it's something where you look at that whole situation, and it goes along with the Cam Newton situation, and it's an overarching shadow on the whole season.
Yeah.
And sure, all the BCS and the games were good, and we love that. There's still this giant black mark all over the whole season.
Oh, yeah.
You
It's a bad year for the NCAA.
Yeah,
in
very
general,
bad
I
year
think.
for the NCAA. I don't know how you justify
Well,
these games.
if you're Reggie Bush and you're sitting watching Terrell Pryor
Oh,
play,
absolutely.
Cam Newton play.
Oh, yeah. And you're like, why do I have to get my Heisman back
Right.
again? Why are
Right.
my national championships not
I think
out?
Auburn knows they're going to get hammered after he's gone, and they don't care. They're still going to win a national
They
championship.
better hope they win it
and-
then. They better
yeah.
do
Well,
do it.
and I think the Ohio State thing, when you're talking about a systemic, that's a systemic problem. I know
Yes,
what the kids
totally.
did was wrong,
Yes.
but I'm sorry. If I'm Terrell Pryor and I got to go pay $80 for my jersey in a store, but I can't sell mine, to finance something stupid that all college kids do, which is tattoos.
Right.
I mean, it's a stupid.
Yeah, but I got to tell you, people say like, "Oh, well, Terrell Pryor's jerseys make so much money for the school." They make some money for the school. Let's not go crazy. But B, how much would a Terrell Pryor jersey be worth if he went to the University of Akron? No offense to the University of Akron, but there's value in the fact that it's Ohio State.
Well, I mean, look, he was the #1 recruit out of high school.
Yeah.
He could have had his pick of schools. He could have gone to Texas in his jersey.
Michigan.
It's more of a point that there is the gap between what the colleges make and in the name of a student athlete and what the student athlete is allowed to do for himself. It's beyond ridiculous. Now we're
Yeah, but I think if you look-
10 years into letting them take
Yeah.
jobs in the summer for the first time,
Right.
and the side's got to be different. Something's got to change. There needs to be something different because otherwise you're going to have Cam Newton's dad coming out and looking for this. Otherwise you're going to have people selling their jerseys for tattoos or whatever. Something needs to
Listen,
change.
nobody's making them go to college. If they
That's
want to
true.
go play in Europe or Canada for 2 years until they're eligible for the NFL draft, they can do that.
But no players
This is
does it.
America.
Yeah.
And you got to go to college if you want to be an American football
Well,
player.
also, it's not like
You know?
the NBA or basketball where there are professional leagues of such high quality
Right.
that Brandon Jennings can go overseas.
Exactly.
And
But-
go
but-
play.
and those
Turkey,
systems
yeah.
are
But great.
But not only that, but as an 18-year-old male, your body hasn't matured to the point where you can compete with the big boys.
Right.
You need a year or two of the facilities to get your body into the shape where you can
I'm just
compete
saying
on
it's college. Like, if you don't want to be in college, don't go to college. Like,
It's true.
going in,
Yeah.
you have to go to college. Like,
And
and they
if you
make
like
it as
someone in college-
easy. Yeah, and they make it as easy for those guys as they possibly can. And my other point is, if you look at probably the sales projections of those jerseys, they vary some depending on who's the star. But you know what? The quarterback of Ohio State is going to sell a lot of jerseys.
jerseys in Ohio. He just is. And,
Yeah.
and it doesn't matter
But-
if it's Terrell
But
Pryor.
it's not even about the jersey sale. It's about the
Or
money
Troy
they make.
Smith.
That's a money-making enterprise of a scholastic institution, state-sponsored
Yeah,
scholastic
they use
institution.
his
like-
face and his likeness
Yes.
to sell themselves, and they're not getting anything back in return except for a future.
Yeah.
Okay, and
Yeah.
I know
And
that.
they're
I
getting a
know,
future.
And they're getting a scholarship, and they get a stipend, and they have a lot better than other kids who have to take out
They
loans
do.
to go
They
to college.
certainly do.
Well, I would feel a lot worse.
I would feel that he did something wrong if that disparity. Like, I'm not saying you got to pay the guy $100,000. I'm saying if his stipend's a couple of grand over a semester, it's not really like you're giving a kid a lot of money. If he went out and worked, he has value. He has value to the university and to himself, and he can't market himself the way the university does, and that's where it gets weird. And if he was being compensated for that marketability, and I'm not saying you take the top guys and give them,
But
X and Y.
it's delayed compensation, but he is compensated for that marketability. I mean,
And his draft
going to
selection.
Ohio State helps him to get
Absolutely.
a higher draft pick. in the
Absolutely,
NFL.
absolutely. But there could be ways that and again, I would rather the university pay these guys a living wage or whatever that is as a stipend than have them feel the need to go around the system. And then if they went around the system, then bam.
Yeah, but implementing a living wage is a pretty tough road to hoe.
It is.
I mean,
It is, but look, it's being done now.
So Terrell Pryor has a lot more value than
than the long snapper for Ohio State.
So
But-
how does that work?
Everybody gets the same. If you get a scholarship,
And what about soccer players?
It's different. They're not bringing in money that they are for the program.
So you decide only the money-making programs get money?
They're the ones that have the value.
Sort of.
But your soccer players still getting a scholarship, but they're not bringing in the millions and millions and billions of
At
dollars.
most schools, football
Yeah.
programs or basketball don't pay for the soccer.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's,
Right. They pay for the women's
At high
soccer.
school, that's exactly what happens.
Yeah.
At high school level.
I don't think you'd be able to get around Title IX either, but
Well, look, they already are.
what you
There's more money that goes into those programs than goes into
yeah,
the
but that they
program.
get. But like you just said, those programs pay for all the rest of them.
Right, they get scholarships, and if you're Connecticut women's basketball or Tennessee women's basketball, and your programs are bringing in money, that's a different conversation.
If you're the women's swim team at University of Miami, Ohio, you get a scholarship.
Yeah, but
that's
then
you're lucky.
that also goes in waves because sometimes they are and sometimes they're not.
True.
And so then what happens when Ohio State's football program is outweighed by their
And
basketball
what if you're the
program?
Akron Zips and the football program doesn't really make any money?
Well,
Do those guys get paid?
And the basketball program barely makes any
Yeah.
money.
Yeah,
'Cause
I
that's
mean-
really where it is in that, at that university.
It's up for debate. I'm not saying that you have to pay the guys $100,000. I'm saying that
No, right.
if you gave them a something
Yes.
more than what they're getting, not a ton, then I would feel that they did something wrong. I'm not sure right now if they did something wrong.
See, I think if you want to prevent all that stuff, then you make an NFL D League,
Mhm.
and you let those guys go play
That's exactly what I
for
was
a year or
gonna say.
two
The
before they
basketball-
get drafted.
Go make the UFL that. Go make
NBA
the
does
UFL
it
that.
perfect.
Yeah.
They
You don't want to go to college? Fine.
They
you know.
transition their
right,
players
yeah.
with protocol, with classes, with tutoring, and all kinds of mentorship
Well,
over the summer
but-
before they ever enter real camp.
Let's keep in mind
the
that
NBA, just until the last 3 or 4 years, did not have it perfect.
No,
they were
they
letting
didn't.
guys in straight from, and it wasn't working. The guys going to Europe right out of high school is a new phenomenon with any success. The D League is only 5 years old.